Hello everybody. I am getting ready for work. I don't have a whole lot of time and I usually don't actually even wear makeup to work. But today is a very special day because today is the first day that we are allowed to have actual customers in the store in Ontario, coming out of I think 9-week, lockdown. So I thought if I did a little bit of makeup and, put on my nice clothes that I'm forced to wear anyway, if I, did the whole thing, then I would be able to maybe feel a little more prepared for today. So I forgot to grab a mirror. I'm just going to use this mirror. I'm not going to use this product because it's just too glitzy. And I'm not going to do a whole lot for makeup, but I've just done my skincare. This is as good as my hair is going to get for today, probably. And I'm just gonna I'm going to be playing with the Juvia's Place Nubian 3 Coral palette, which looks like this. I actually really like this color story. I'm probably going to be playing a lot with this area because that's normally where I stick to on the palette, but I might play around with a little bit of the silver, maybe not. Probably be sticking around there. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to start by putting on my Milani eyeshadow base. I noticed Glam has one called Icing. I'm actually really tempted to get because this one's, I mean, it looks like it has a color, but when it goes on your eyes, it's actually pretty, it matches my skin tone. I think it kind of just shears out into nothing. I don't know if you can tell, but it just kind of blends out into nothing. There's really not much of a cast even left there. But for certain things like doing a cut crease, or you know, more I don't want to say costumey, but like more artsy type of makeup looks. There's a word for it. I can't think of what the word would be. But things like that where you know how people were doing like clouds stamped on there, like they were like making clouds. That trend, I want to try that, but I don't have any white cream based products. I could have done my concealer, I guess, but I don't know why. I decided not to. Gonna blend out my base. Just take whatever's left on the back of my hand, and also use my finger to kind of melt it at the edges so I can try to avoid getting that weird line. That's better. Okay. It's been so long trying to center this. Okay. That's better. So I'm just using my finger to blend out the edges, kind of help it melt into my skin a little better, or at least I'm trying to. And this is not going to be like that fantastic of a makeup look. It's really just going to be throwing on a little bit of color in my eyes and hoping for the best. So I'm gonna start with this one at the bottom. I don't think they have names. They don't. But I'm taking this one in the bottom corner. And on a Spectrum B06, and in my tiny mirror, I'm going to sweep that into the crease. So it's almost a bit too warm for what I was going for today, but it's fine. Now, I know a lot of people love Juvia's Place. I'm very unsure about how I feel about their palettes. I have 3 of them. I have this one, the Nubian 3 Coral. I have that small 6-pan purple one called the Violets. And I have the Tribe palette. I think it's called the Tribe palette, that green one. I think they discontinued it. I've heard they brought it back. I haven't looked. I do not know if they still sell it or not, but I never actually tried mine. Mine isn't used, and the reason for that is because when I bought it, I had a weird eye thing happening, and so all the palettes that I bought at that time, I wasn't actually physically able to use them, and then I was just really scared for the next while after. And then by the time I was kind of able to play with my makeup again, I was doing a lot more colorful looks, and I wasn't really interested in those greens at the moment. So I mean, I didn't get around to it really. I do plan to use it. It's not one that I think I can get away with wearing to work, so I'll probably have to use it on a day that I just want to put my makeup on and play with it, which is fine. I'm just taking a tiny bit of this color. I don't know if it's going to do what I want it to do, but I'm just going to take a little bit of that. This is the color that was right above the color I just put in my crease, and I'm just starting to use that in the outer part. It's probably too light. Yeah, not really doing it. That's okay. Just sort of blending it in on both sides, just so it ends up evenly distributed. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my Real Techniques. I don't think this brush oh, this is just a base shadow brush. I like the shape of it. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a little more flat, and it's really good for my eye shape. I'm taking this this darker brown color, just dipping into that. And I like this one because when I go to put it in my outer V, I feel like I have more control. And that's pretty much all I'm gonna do for the mattes, I think. I don't play too often with this palette. I think I've only used it a couple times. I get very bored very easily with my makeup, which is probably why I have so much of it. But there's always something new. Always something new, always something exciting. And I usually have to allow myself to want something for a while before I jump on it, because I don't want to be bored of it before I even get it in the mail. One of the palettes that I've been really wanting is that Urban Decay Wild West palette. I want that so bad, and it's on sale right now, but it's not on sale enough, if that makes sense. When I bought my Naked Honey palette, which I almost used today, but I thought, let's break out this bad boy. When I got my Naked Honey palette, I wanted that thing the second I saw it released. I wanted it so bad, but in Canada, that palette's like $68 full price in Canadian money, and that's a lot of money to be spending on an eyeshadow palette. But if you wait long enough, you can get that thing for like, I think I paid about $37 for it, because I caught it on a flash sale. And I've noticed that Urban Decay's Canadian website, at least, tends to do a lot of those kinds of sales that, you know, it's like 50% off one palette, or 50% off select items featuring this palette and then these eyeliners and whatever. And I am waiting for the day that happens with the Wild West palette, because right now the palette's only 20% off, and that's not enough. I'm going to take my Spectrum eyeshadow brush in A13. I'm going to spray it with the Milani Make It Last, and we're going to see how well this works. I'm going to take this one at the top here. Like I said, I've only used this eyeshadow maybe like, this palette maybe like twice, if that. I'm gonna spray it. We're gonna just sort of put it on the lid. Oh, that's not impactful at all. I might have to use my finger. Yeah. So I'm getting it on my finger. There we go. So as you can see, like, it's just a really nice, like, warm eye, and I'm doing it kind of sloppy. You can obviously, if you have better skills than me, make it work a little better. Make it look a little better. But it'll look fine when it's done. So I'm actually gonna take this wet brush and use it on the other eye, just because I got so much of that wetness on the other eye. It helped actually. I don't know if anything I just said there made sense, but I used the other brush because it was wet, just to get some of that setting spray on the lid to help make it more impactful when I put it down on my finger. Taking that original brush and just a slight sweep. Just a smidge. Okay, now I'm going to take the Juvia's Place concealer, which I have mentioned, I think, in every video I've done so far, that I don't like it that much, but I also don't dislike it. I think it's just a tad too creamy for my personal taste. It's fine. Wet sponge. Got it from Amazon. I have a whole pack. My kitty Luna has stolen 2 of my sponges. She's not behind me. Smokey is. But Luna likes my sponges, and she took 2 of them, and I don't know where she put them. Normally she just puts them on the ground, and then I just walk past them and find them. I don't know where she put these. They are potentially behind my dresser. I don't know. She goes back there a lot. Not behind the dresser, but behind the TV stand, which is beside the dresser. This sponge almost might be too wet. But I had to get another sponge. It's a good thing that when I bought it, it came in a pack of 5. But she took them. She just picked them up and she took them, and I don't know where she put them. I know I mentioned this I think I mentioned this in my first video. I do not own a foundation. I do not use foundation. I kind of want to try a foundation, but I also feel like I don't need to. We're gonna use the Hard Candy. No. We're gonna use the CoverGirl one. I want to use this up. I'm very far away from even being close to using it up, but Ooh. The amount of this the amount that I spill when I use this, you'd think would be enough to make some decent progress on using it. Nope. No, it is not. So I mentioned that I had that eye thing, and I haven't used a lot of the palettes I bought from them from that time. I have quite a few unused palettes, I am ashamed to say. The Tribe is among them. Another one that I haven't used is the Avocado Toast palette by BH Cosmetics. Was thinking of trying that one out in a video too. I was gonna try all of my palettes out, make a video of it, and just, you know, play with it and see what I can do. Recently I got the Kaleidos Club Nebula palette. I wasn't originally gonna get it, and I'm so glad I did. I didn't actually try it yet, but I'm so glad I got it. It is so pretty. And the color story is pretty up my alley. I like the blues greens, and I like the pinks in it. I think I'm just gonna take my Milani bronzer on this big fluffy spectrum brush, the A01, and I'm gonna take I try not to do this because if you do this that thing, I can't do it the same amount on both sides. This is something I learned from Robert Welsh. I think it's Robert. You know, you do the smushy face, and then you can't do it the same on both sides to the same extent, and then your bronzer doesn't get evenly distributed because you're relying on the smushy face. So I mentioned before, I also do not wear makeup to work regularly. I probably should, because it's typically more professional, but I also don't think that that's really that necessary, so I don't do that. I don't know. So I know some workplaces kind of almost require it. I'm taking that lighter shade and just putting it slightly under my eyes, but not all the way in. I don't want much happening. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do for that. And then we're going to take the CoverGirl Exhibitionist mascara, tried and true, and I'll be back in like 15 minutes when I get this stuff on. Okay, well, I got mascara like all over my face, but that's typical, so we're just gonna move on. I'm also gonna take my e.l.f. No Budge eyeshadow stick in Perfect Pearl and just put that right in. My neighbor is yelling. I don't know if he's like in a fight with somebody. I don't know if he's yelling at his dog because I hear dog barking. I don't know if he's yelling at his wife because I feel like I heard a woman. Very confused. For blush, I'm going to take the Milani Romantic Rose powder blush. It's one of those flower ones. I managed to actually make part of the flower go away, so I mean, I'm trying. My makeup does not typically look very used. I'm trying to fix that. I am not really a project planner by any means, but I thought that it'd be fun to kind of focus on using a couple things a little more. I have a decently extensive blush collection. I do not have that many bronzers, and they still don't look that used. Even though bronzer, I'll pack on bronzer. I will use so much bronzer and blush. I don't know. I feel like I use a lot. But yeah, my stuff doesn't look that used. I don't know if it's the way I apply it or what, but my blush and everything lasts a very long time. Blush typically lasts a long time. Gonna take this Itty Bitty Becca Opal highlighter. There's a tiny dip in there. You can kind of tell I like this one. I'm very tempted to pick up a full size of this. I'm using the teeny tiny mirror. No, I'm gonna go back to the bigger mirror. I'm very tempted to get a full size of this before Becca shuts down. I kind of feel like they're not really gonna shut down though. I don't know. I just have a hunch that if they do shut down, they will be right back, either under a different company name or I feel like they're gonna post something. They're gonna do something. They're gonna either be like, just kidding, you guys stepped up to the plate and you brought in enough sales that we can keep going, or you know, something like that. Does anybody else get that sense that that's what's gonna happen? Because I feel like that's what's gonna happen already. I forgot my eyebrow thingy, so I'm gonna grab that. Once again, this is the only eyebrow pencil I own. It is the CoverGirl one. It's the only eyebrow thing I own, and it's pretty good. If you're like me and your eyebrows kind of, you know, are full enough and you just really want something to, oh shit, you just really want something to fill in like the, you know, the spurser spots, give you a chance to sort of shape your brows, because like, you know, when I brush them I get like a tiny little baldish spot here. You can fill that in, but I pretty much leave the front alone because I don't want my eyebrows to look heavy. So I'll just sort of brush them up and down at the tail. So I just fill in any spot that when I brushed it up, you know, got a little bald. I'm the person who plucks my own brows. I do not trim them. I do not trust myself to do that. Well, that's all I do for my brows. And then I'm going to also use the spoolie on the flakes of mascara and try and scratch those away. I don't think I let this part dry enough because it's not really coming off. Oh no. Alright. I'm gonna have to do something about that part because that's not going away. Cute. This is a really oddly shaped one. I think I got it in a stocking one year and I'm finally at the end of the package. And we'll just wipe that away. And I think I'm just going to take the tip of my sponge and sort of go back over that area and then just pat it with my finger. Not a miracle cure, but enough. And then we'll just blend over the top one more time. And that is that. I'll use a little bit of my ColourPop Mini Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Setting Mist. And I'm gonna be wearing my mask, so it doesn't make sense to really do anything for my lips, but I'm just gonna take this, maybe not this one, that's way too pink. I'm gonna take this one in, so this is the ColourPop Candyland Tinted Balm, whatever it's called, and this one's in the color Peppermint Frost. It does not really show much, but it's a pretty comfortable balm. But it's just a pink. And that is that. I've already brushed my hair. This is what it's gonna look like today, and my makeup is now done. If you liked this kind of video, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like one of these videos, you want to see something else, just give me suggestions in the comments. It was fun hanging out with whoever's watching this again. and I'll see you next time.